Black people, we do a lot more than rap, dance, and play basketball. We have a whole lot of backgrounds and different interests and then all that kind of stuff. And I got a really special guest here. I checked her out. She was on the news like twice and stuff. Once I seen her, I said, I gotta get on up and get on down and check her out and see what she's about and try to have her on my show because I really like black people doing business. Big time, big time. Love black people doing business. So go ahead and introduce this man right here. Sorry about that. Getting nervous. You're so beautiful. You throw me off. Avery Barnes and Taswira.
Yep.
Oh man, you make me so damn nervous.
I'm getting everybody speaking Swahili out here.
Oh man.
My name is Avery Barnes, and I am the founder and creative director of Taswira.
All right, cool. And where did you get that name from, first of all? What's it about? What's the background? How'd you get it?
Right. So the name Swahili is the main one of the main languages in Kenya, and so Taswira is the Swahili word for vision, just the big picture of things. And so when I was trying to find a name for the brand, I really wanted it to incorporate that message and be specific to the location, and it just rang my bell.
Okay, good. Wow. So you're a product yourself and stuff. You went to you have a background in this stuff, right?
I do.
Wow. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yes, thank you. Well, I mean, I'm 22 years old. Just secured a location in downtown Pioneer Square, and I couldn't do it without working with organizations here, Seattle Restored and Shunpike. But leading up into this point has been a lot. A lot of people around me and who've been following me on social media have seen me going back and forth to Africa for the years during COVID. I'd lived in Africa for 3 years. I mean, no, not 3 years, 3 months. Wow. And I don't like to say that I visited or spent time because during these periods of times and months that I've stayed, I've really lived amongst the people in the community. I've connected myself with all of the beach boys, the Boda Boda boys, which are my muse for streetwear. They pimp out their bikes and they give they drive motorbikes for their jobs and incomes, and they pimp out their bikes. They wear all the fresh fashions and they play all of the hit songs, and so a really big part of the culture within the communities locally amongst the children in the schools. I spend a lot of time helping develop a primary school and working with the Women's Center in Mombasa, Kenya, Bemburi specifically. And I've made my way all throughout the city of Mombasa, which is so rich in culture. You have so many different artisans, spices, farmers. I've just invested into coffee and came back with 100 pounds of Kenyan Arabica. I hope I'm saying that right. Coffee beans just a few weeks ago.
100 pounds?
And 100 pounds.
Sir, that's a lot. I don't know if that's safe to say in Seattle because we're big coffee drinkers up here. They may be robbing your store right now.
Well, I'm roasting locally. I'm roasting through a black-owned coffee roaster, Buna Buna, working with a few of their employees, and they've just, man, the support that I've been receiving and the recognition of all of this hard work is just so humbling, and it comes from a background of independence. I've really been in survival mode ever since I was 16 and was living on my own and supporting myself through hundreds of jobs until I quit all of them and decided during COVID, I'm really gonna do this.
Wow.
And And with the power of God and the universe, I've been connected to the right people. I've been connected to opportunities that have taken a lot of work to bring to life, and that's what I would say that I'm good at is manifesting. I'm a master manifester. So having a product and an idea that started 5 years ago, and then now being able to touch and feel and see it and be inside of it and live it has just been a spiritual experience over everything else.
Well, that's really good. Now, what made you want to do for African? Because I know African is a continent, not a country. Because most young women are going to be hip hop, urban, American kind of stuff. And like, why in the world would you want to go back to Africa? It's like, what's wrong with her? Why? I mean, right. Did Africa call you? You call it, or what?
Well, I think Africa called me. My first time traveling internationally, all of these trips have been solo. So I had traveled to Bali my first time for like my 19th birthday. And that allowed me to get a global perspective of business opportunity. I wanted to like ship art and stuff from there and have a gallery. And, and so like 6 months later, I had a mentor from Mombasa, Kenya. And he had shared with me all of the stories during Civil War, how he had traveled with a random family just to get to the United States, and had been through just all of the different street stories that I would get from being in Mombasa. And my life was needing a change of direction, and I was working at MAC Cosmetics at the time, and I was taking on all of these different brand ambassador gigs and makeup gigs and modeling gigs, and first of all, I didn't want to be on like the cover of a magazine because of my looks. I wanted to be on the cover of a magazine because of something that I've done, and I've always wanted to make an impact through creative agendas and through design. And so that's when I was really got interested in nonprofits. And so I was searching for like 2 months to find a nonprofit organization or volunteer group that focused on things that I could relate to and get more experience on. So women's empowerment, small business entrepreneurship, and development. And so finally I had found one, and it just so happened to be in Mombasa, Kenya.
Wow.
And so that was like just one of those things that, and then immediately after that, I had started meeting all of these people from Kenya, and they're like, oh, you need to go. And so those were affirmations that Kenya in Africa itself was calling me. And I went there. I just went by myself to Africa. I can't even tell you how my bones were shaking on the plane. I landed, I saw zebras outside of the fences, and I saw like soldiers with AK-47s like circling the plane, and it was a very like interesting experience. But immediately upon arrival in Nairobi and traveling to Mombasa and just meeting all of the people that are now my business partners, I was the first volunteer to actually work with that center. It's established in 2019, which is when Taswira had been established.
Wow.
And so, yeah, that's the story behind that. I was the first one.
How was your reception from being a Black American going over there? They're blacks. We're real blacks. I mean, how was your experience? How did they receive you, in other words?
Right. It was otherworldly. Racism did not exist.
Wow.
It was, I mean, there's classes. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Classism. I mean, they definitely have the 1% there. It's a little bit different. There's a government. What's the word? There's differences there politically.
Yeah.
but I had went there, worked with the women. I had seen all of this business opportunity. The women, like pretty much their sources of income comes from is product based. And so when starting Taswira, it was really important to me, and it's important for Taswira to be known for being made in Africa. And so I think that when doing business in the United States and with Black businesses in the United States, a lot of us are sourcing from China. And China is going in and buying up all the land and taking away job opportunities for locals in Africa. And so it's like a whole this ownership, establishing ownership like as fast as we can, and educating people as fast as we can about that in Africa is like a really important thing right now. And so really it's after having those experiences, I cannot express to my brothers and my sisters here in the United States how important it is to go back to the motherland and to experience that for themselves. You know, because they're all of our culture, and there's stories of slavery coming back from. Way back from coming from Africa to America, and certain museums in areas with that, but it's this is our that's where our culture originates from, and it's rich. And when I say rich, I'm not talking about financially, or it is so rich in its beauty, and in all of the different forms of artisans there are. You see the traditional skill sets that we had come, and so it's important for me to spread the message of like, let's start doing business in Africa.
Exactly.
So I think that answers your question in a few ways.
No, because I remember I grew up in South Seattle my entire life, and when I was younger, a lot more slimmer and stuff, and they always used to mistake me for being one of them. And they said, I got so much. I'll give you an example. One time I went to a club and I was dancing with a girl, and she mentioned something in my ear, and I said, "What are you talking about?" I thought she was drunk. Then she said, "Are you a reacher?" And I said, "No." And she just walked away. And I was like, "Damn."
That is, And when I had went there, Africans, they will look at me because I have some Nigerian blood in me, and they look at me. They're like, "You're not Nigerian. You're Kenyan or something." But they can tell exactly where you're from your facial features, and they are so. That's what they go off of, and I feel like I can see that a little bit in you. I can see some East African roots.
Because I used to hang out at 23rd and Union, and they can. Because one of the biggest things I want to dispel is that a lot of Caucasian people think all black people are just black. You're just black. Don't matter who you is. Don't matter you're here, Africa, or whatever. No, there's a difference among black, and especially when they come over here, blacks from the continent of Africa, they know each other and what's different. They know your ass is black American. You know, you ain't fooling nobody. They know you black and stuff. I got stories to tell, believe me. But what's your shop about? I mean, is it culture? Is it art? Clothing? A little bit? Branding? What are you doing, girl? What's going on?
Well, if you go into the store, you're gonna see a lot of modern African streetwear. All of our clothing. I want to. I want to create a different definition for African wear. A lot of the times you'll see like the traditional dashiki, and I want to see more people in African textile. You don't see people walking down the streets in it. You don't even go into the mall, into the store. You can't find a pair of African print pants anywhere. You just can't. And so that's what I'm bringing to the table as far as clothing. It's luxury African streetwear. how do I say this correctly? There's not a lot of luxury African designers out there.
Yeah.
And so our pieces, I've spent a few years studying different textiles. We have a shirt that's very like linen-y, and it's so vibrant in color, and the pattern on it is specific to Kenya. But all of our buttons are hand carved out of like bone and natural materials. Just having that kind of spiritual element into the pieces as well. Every single piece is a one of one, and is hand tailored and made through our Women's Empowerment Center in Bamburi.
Okay, now going back to that, because one of the things that was in the news that there's a kind of connection. You have some kind of relationship. Can you tell me about that, or like how's that going? Like,
Right.
yeah.
So the past few years, we have been building a center in Mombasa, Kenya, that has different classes that are free for women and just students in the community. It's like the place that is safe to explore these different skill sets, which and our classes teach like sewing, braiding, um, beading, carving, weaving baskets. And so it was built to give women in the community who have suffered from loss. There's a story. It's a grandmother who's has grandchildren, but both of their parents had died, and so she was left with to take care of those children, and she's struggling to put food on the table herself, and definitely to put those kiddos through school. And so working with Peter Bamford Ocheng, which is the founder and director of the center, it was his mission, being the founder of a children's school as well, to create this project to be able to help the women create the funds to pay school fees for the kids. And so when I had went there, I had seen that there was a lot of areas that needed improvement. They needed more resources. The products that they were making were absolutely stunning, and they keep recycling the same. Like if a woman was to have a sell something called chapati on the side of the street, or potatoes, that produce expires, and so they lose a lot of that profit. And so just finding ways to become more sustainable and to stand out as a small business in the community. Just a few months ago in October, I actually hosted the first all-women's business market in Kenya. And that in itself generated some income and created a name in the community for the center. And my goal is to be able to introduce the aspect of being a host to for them to create and source worldwide. That's what the initiative behind our website was to be able to sell their products worldwide and get that new money in there, not just recycling the same, and start creating growth, which the average person makes about $120 a month, and we have successfully been able to like times that by 6 just for one person and just in one order.
Serious?
And yes.
Damn. That's a lot of bread. That is a lot of money, because you're averaging 120, and I'm always been lousy at math, but 6 times. I mean, you have to take a genius to find out that's a lot of damn money.
Oh, yeah.
And of course, money makes the world go around and opens doors and opportunities and everything.
600 can fund the center for the whole year.
Oh, wow. For a whole year?
Yes.
A whole year, 365 days.
Yep.
That's a lot. That's really doing something. Man, wow. And I want to break away, but you're only 22
Only
and you're
22.
doing all this kind of stuff, and you're a black woman in business. Now, how in the world did you end up down in Pioneer Square? Because I was 22 years old. I was in Pioneer Square. The last thing I was doing was in business. I was in the club drinking and chasing women. That's about it. A lot of stuff I did in Pioneer Square, but wasn't opening no. I contributed a lot of money down there, but it wasn't in the right way. So how? Okay, three questions I got to ask. You're a black woman. You're in business in America. Um, starting your own business. Tell me about that.
Man, starting.
Especially after COVID. Cause we know
this was all during COVID.
Yeah, during COVID. So that's even on top of that.
Mm-hmm.
And you know how the economy's going right now. Everybody know about gas prices, the war.
Man, they just raised my rent too.
Yeah,
it's survival mode.
Yeah,
and so a way for me to share Taswira's story and like what I'm doing in the community, and also to generate like income, for myself and in support of myself, and so that I could be able to put in more orders for production and things like that. I started doing pop-ups with different markets. And so during COVID, that was all outside. It was freezing cold.
Yeah.
Had to set up tents, and I really give it to everyone out there who is doing outdoor pop-up shops and markets, because it's a lot. In every single weekend, I mean, the only thing you could do is fill up every single day that you possibly can. But I mean, Taswira was bringing in more than any like day job would bring in for me, and so had to quit that. So that actually, through doing pop-ups for a year, I licensed Taswira in 2020, December of 2020, and so that's when we really started doing pop-up shops until just recently. I met an individual through Seattle Good, which introduced me to an application for storefronts in like the whole Seattle region, for connecting tenants with vacant locations to small businesses. And so that was funded through the Office of Economic Development, through Shun Pike, and then they created a project called Seattle Restored, and that's who's managing everything. But my also like kind of doing, I was just getting in through the whole nonprofit thing, studying up on grant writing and stuff, and so I wrote a pretty dang good application. I wrote my heart out in that thing. Wow. I wrote my heart out in that thing. And a few months go by. I come back from a few months go by, and I wake up one morning and I get an email saying, you have been selected for this location. So the landlord had specifically chosen me for that location. And it turns out that I was like one of the top applications. And they needed me to come the next morning at 9:30 to check it out. And hopefully I would say yes. And so when I tell you, I pull up to Lumen Field. I had no idea where it was. I didn't really know. And I see the location of that place and the look of it. And I said, this is it. I mean, if you saw my Pinterest board, my mood board, that how it looks like inside, that industrial kind of look is like my dream home, what my dream home looks like. But so that was like I said yes. We started the paperwork, but there is like an issue. And that was that it takes me 2 months to get a shipment. So the next day, this was a Thursday, the next day, Friday, is when I had to book a flight to Kenya. I had to go to Kenya. And so I'm scrambling that week, and on the next Sunday, I get on a flight went to Kenya, and due to like the times of flying, I was only there for 3 days.
Wow.
3 days I was able to curate that whole space. And I go back to the airport. I'm taking boxes apart, taping them together. Like I came back with like a 6-foot statue. I checked 9 bags that day. And I was able to make it back. And that immediately when I landed is when we started getting to work.
Wow.
And up until yesterday was the first day of being open.
That's a trip, because I know COVID, everybody knows that everything was shut down and the shipping was effed up. It was, come on.
Oh, yeah.
Especially
that on
coming
top of
from
everything.
overseas, they had all of America was messed up. So I couldn't imagine working within that kind of time constraints, get everything going. Like, hey, you got it going on. Because I was tripping out. You said back, I called you up, hey, where's your shop at? I said, Occidental. I looked at, damn, you got a hot spot.
That's a hot spot.
Yeah, because I know, because I remember Pioneer Square is, I've been in Seattle all my life, so they has that bougie. You down in Pioneer Square, you bougie art gallery, wine. And so you do in Pioneer Square, you got a damn good location, and also you have the eclectic spirit that comes along with it.
We bougie. When you come into the store, you get your little glass of champagne and you look around, and we do bougie. We're going to be doing bougie coffee tastings. And we're designer for sure. For sure. So it's fitting.
Damn. But being a black woman, being a young black woman, also getting in business, how you feel? I mean, most black women, period, white, black, whatever it is, around 21, 22, they just starting out and stuff. You got your own damn business. I mean, what kind of challenges are you facing?
Sleep.
Yeah. Okay.
A lot of the people walking by who live in the like apartment next door, they'll see me in there until like 5 a.m. Like I will really be in there until 5 a.m. Busting my butt.
Yeah.
And so there's that. There's like the emotional aspect, coming to the reality of I mean, we just had the mayor walk through, Bruce. He came there along with a lot of other executives and founders of organizations. And all of the people that I had dreamt of reaching out to and connecting within the community, I had them all there at once.
Wow.
And I had my moment to speak and to tell my story. And I've been waiting for that day for 5 years. And so... Seattle Restored, they had rewarded and granted all businesses like $2,500, but I mean, I've invested personally way more than that, because you walk into the store and you see the big mural of the Maasai tribe wearing these modern bucket hats, and this was my opportunity to show people like what's up.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people have been walking by and are just thankful for that this space exists.
Yeah.
And so personally, this experience has like, and in business, when you get an opportunity like this, especially from someone that was not connected to the community at all, I was just finding my way. And so honestly, it's like you sink or you swim.
Yeah.
And so I'll hop on a flight and I'll go fly. We're going to show out.
Yeah.
But I'm so thankful. I have Mai here, my assistant. She has come on board and helping me. So the team is growing. That's new.
Yeah.
That's different, because I'm used to doing everything by myself. And man, you know, I'm 22. I got space to fail. But being a business owner yourself too, like there's challenges within that. You lose sleep. You gotta do everything on your own. You gotta learn some new skills. And so yeah, it's been a really, really eye-opening an experience.
Yeah, that's really good. Hey, what about as far as Black and American getting our stuff out there? Because you always see brothers talking about Versace and Gucci and dropping all these white folks' names, and they ain't doing a damn thing for us. And Black folks,
We
have
just hit
always
it.
been, especially in America, we put the forefront with urban fashion. Everybody follows what we do. You know,
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to hip hop, the radio, the lingo, the talk, or whatever like that. Why aren't when you think more black people like
Why aren't black people
Beyonce?
wearing black
Yeah,
designers?
exactly.
Yeah,
What's up with that? You know,
yeah,
why not? We sit back up here dropping big old money. When it comes to white folks, ooh, I got Versace, I got Gucci, you know, these names and
yeah.
stuff. What's up with that?
You tell me, because one, that's what
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to do. One Gucci bag could, I mean, with the numbers, could change a whole community.
Yeah, because
And
it's ignorance on black folks' part. I mean, you
even
sitting up
even
here.
buying from black businesses here,
Yeah,
in
yeah,
the United States.
yeah,
And but it's also important for the quality to be there
yeah,
behind products.
yeah.
And I mean, I started with blanks, and I got a heat press machine. I know how to use it.
Yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
know,
Mm-hmm.
and just learning the whole design aspect between screen printing and oh man. But yeah, I'm right there with you.
Yeah, because I
I'm right
remember
there
like
with you.
Kanye was bragging about some girl, some bag with like 25, 30 racks. I'm like, I looked at the bag. I'm like, what? Are you
Mhm.
serious?
Mhm.
They're really selling that stuff? I know it's good quality, but I'm sorry, I just ain't feeling it, bro. And be bragging. We be bragging about it in the videos, talking all this mess and all this, like we got to learn how to support each other and stuff.
Yeah.
Cause we big time be bragging and boasting about that, and putting money in their hands and ain't putting none in our hands.
Mhm.
And like I said, I'm very unapologetic when I talk about black business and stuff. And some people get offended by it. And I remember this one guy confronted me, oh, he's talking black people in business, black people in business. I'm like, brother, said, what them shoes on? You a white boy you giving that money to? What about that bill in your hand? White boy
Yeah.
getting that money? Where
Yeah.
you eat at? Okay,
You
then
spend
shut.
$100
Yeah.
on that. I had someone come up to me. It was a white woman.
Uh-huh.
And she was looking at my bucket hats, and she's like, oh, that's nice. How much is that? And my bucket hats are nice.
Yeah.
And I go, it's $80. She goes, oh, that's too much. But she had like a whole like North Face jacket on.
Exactly. It doesn't make any sense that how they translate. Like, come on, man, you sitting up here spending all this money on these Jordans. Got a whole damn collection of them.
Mm-hmm.
You go with some black folks going to business, all of a sudden you want to start calculating. That don't make all of a sudden your ass got a budget. Your ass didn't have no budget when you doing that. You going breaking your neck, jumping over hurdles, going up out your way to buy all this stuff. When it comes to us, all of a sudden you get cheap. And it's kind of ironic also because I had another interview with a guy 2 weeks back, and the same thing. He said his name was Big Herc. And he said, when it comes to black folks do each other wrong first. It don't make no damn sense. And people in general and stuff like that, when it comes to black, it means cheaper or discount or whatever. It's that negative stereotype and mentality or whatever. I don't know where it's coming from, but it needs to be dispelled big time. We need to get rid of it more than COVID.
Can I say something kind of a little bit off the charts? I'll have like exactly awful. I'm feeling everything that you're saying because there will be times where I had a pop up. And, it's all African out. Yeah. And if I was walking by, I'd be like, oh, that's cool, represent.
Yeah.
But I have a number of black folks that just don't walk by, don't even blink my way.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm like, it's cool. Like, you don't have to buy anything, but like, come on, like what?
Really? You're like,
they don't even look.
Yeah.
They put their nose up.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like,
I don't know what to say about that.
I'm like, I feel like jump across. I'm like, well, you. Oh my God! I mean, are you serious?
Yeah, we need it.
Yeah.
We need it. But you know what? People aren't gonna hop on board until they see that like it's cool too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Great. That's really great. So you got your place going and you got a really great location. I know you're going to get a lot of business and anything. You got anything coming up or anything or that you're looking forward to or what?
Yeah, so got a few things. So like I said, we're about to make our way into the coffee industry. But the biggest thing, the most important thing with having this space is that we're finally able to like find community and bring community. The space it's less retail. I forgot to mention that we also have like a lot of African artifacts there. Like there's a mask there that's over like 100 years old. From a Western tribe of Kenya. And so I work very closely with the Maasai. We're one of the first companies to have a collaboration with the Maasai tribe. I'm very close with the chief's family in Narok in Masai Mara. And I mean, I'll have Africans walk by and be like, "Those are my people."
Yeah.
It's like being from Tanzania and something, and they recognize their people for the first time. So this is a way for us to find community. So like I was saying, it's less retail, more creative space. We have a whole creative space, and I don't know if you say it was like grass and all that. So we're also going to be hosting workshops for kids. The goal is to be able to impact and connect with indigenous women, women, BIPOC women and students in the area who have traveled, because what happens is you come from Africa to America thinking that there's going to be opportunities for growth, and there's language barriers, there's educational barriers, there's I mean, it's really hard to find a job because of those things. There's the age barriers. And so they end up being put on government assistance, which isn't sufficient enough. But the gold in that is they come and they have those traditional skill sets that they have absolutely no idea that they can utilize and create a business from and thrive. And so working with that area of people, also, we have a partnership with Seattle Central College, working with design students. And I work with a lot of designers in the area, and that focuses on our sample production, and then we send those off digitally. We're one of the first schools in Mombasa to have like Wi-Fi and iPads now. So we send those patterns off digitally for small production, and that's just kind of how the process works. And then there's also Festival Sanjata coming up. Yep, Wale's performing. Definitely gonna get back there and give him a special gift from Taswira. He's from Kenya.
Oh, okay.
He's from Kenya. A lot of people don't know that. Yeah, his name is Kenyan, and so we have that big festival coming up. So yeah, that's come by the store.
You're gonna be open on Sundays?
We're not open on Sundays.
So you're gonna open up on Sunday to see how you're right by Lumen Field.
No, you know what? I need one day, but I'm always in there.
Okay.
So the doors will probably be open.
Let me drop you a little hint.
The
when
weekends.
Seahawks season comes, you gotta be open on Sunday, because I mean they get thousands of people down there.
There's a whole Sounders parade that walked by, and I'm like, we're getting into it. We're getting into it.
And that's dollars, and dollars. Because, shoot, instead of going down there, spending that money down there, come on up in here.
Yep, and
you're
going to get
ducats.
That percentage that goes straight to the Maasai tribe, straight being able to, like after that whole period of COVID, and then doing pop-up shops here in the meantime, I was able to go back to Kenya with like a stack full of cash and just like distribute that amongst the people.
Because I mean, that's incredible. I didn't know that
directly.
A whole year. That's incredible. A whole year. That's. I had no idea. I mean, that amount of money can sit back and help somebody out back home and stuff for one whole year. And let's get realistic. I mean, how it is in America. You buy one damn T-shirt for $45, $50 or whatever like that for a damn T-shirt.
Yeah.
Because it's designer or whatever like that.
But, supporting Black-owned businesses here is really important. And I just want to say, like, this is how like I have no problem in sharing my game because I want people to succeed. And so Seattle Restored and Shunpike, they have this storefronts application is still going on. It started with 24, and I was in that first batch, and then they expanded to 36, and now it's 75. So they got 75 locations that were vacant, but now they're turning the lights back on, and so it really is restoring Seattle. And so I mean, I encourage Black business owners to take advantage of the community, the opportunities that are going on in the community right now, because there are organizations that are now and they're seeing the effect that this is having. And it's important that even with the way that the PPP loans are being distributed, Senator Patty Murray had put made sure on the second round that a portion of those were directly towards Black businesses, because a lot of the they were noticing that just the larger banks got a hold of that funding, and so it was important that smaller community banks were able to get a hold of that, but that also Black business owners were aware of and noticed in that. And so I mean, that's the whole nonprofit game.
Exactly. Because downtown
we gotta work together.
To come up. It just because like right now it's a damn ghost town. It's embarrassing.
We need support, and I put that pressure on the people who are funding these projects. You know.
Definitely, you gotta go ahead and get in their ear and stuff, because it's ridiculous. It's like a ghost town down there now. It's embarrassing and stuff. 'Cause I grew up here my entire life. You go down there and it's bad enough with the crime and everything and all this stuff that's going on. In the hub of Seattle is now Seattle, and so when you think of Seattle, you think of downtown first and everything else second. I'm sorry, that's just it. It's our city and everything. Now, what about our white brethren out there? You want to intimidate nobody not to come to your shop?
No. My design, I want to see more white people wearing African print. I want them to feel comfortable, because that's a huge question that I get is it cultural appropriation? And this is big.
This ain't no cultural appropriation.
It's no, because you know what? You could either for me, wearing being Caucasian, white, and wearing like African print pants. Like, first of all, it looks good, but second of all, that's like represent.
Exactly.
Represent. There's nothing wrong in respectfully representing us and supporting us through where you put your dollar.
Yeah, exactly. It's stupid because, I mean, people say cultural appropriation. What are you talking about? Your black ass.
So you're just what?
Versace. Your
so you
ass
just not gonna
Italian.
wear it? So
You don't sit back and trip off when you sit back. Versace. You ain't Italian. You don't sit back and have that issue when you're doing that like that, or Gucci or any of these other names and stuff like that. You don't sit back when you're drinking liquor. All of a sudden, that's cultural appropriation. That's a bunch of bullshit. Come on, man. Hey, Black folks need money and stuff. We need to have our stuff, our name, our stuff in the damn game. Come down here and buy our stuff. You cool? White folks want to come on in? You cool? Ain't no problem. Ain't nobody gonna be cussing you out, trying to bring nothing up, throw nothing in your face. Come on in. I mean, I don't understand that.
And this store is very welcoming to that. Like, I welcome folks from all backgrounds. And I really want to stress that, like, because from the other side of things, like, a part of me can kind of understand and tries to understand where they're coming from with like making sure that how they represent us is respectful. And I think it's also important to, well, actually, let me go back on what I'm saying, because let's just be black and be African and not even think twice about it.
Yeah, exactly.
I changed my thought.
Exactly.
And yeah, but it is important for white folks to start feeling comfortable because nobody's gonna come for them. No one's gonna come for them unless their other white friends are gonna come for them because it's real. It's still here. And that's their problem.
Exactly. You gotta deal with it.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah.
Man, it's hard saying that.
I know. Anything else you want to throw in there? I mean, like anything next year or anything else about? I'm probably repeating myself.
Man, I can't even say those things yet. But
you gonna have a website or anything?
Yes, honestly, that's what I was gonna say. Please, like, we need all of the support in the world right now. And website is up. We have the new collection going right now. And our location is 510 Occidental Avenue South. And please follow us on social media because that's where you're going to be able to find and stay updated with everything that's going on. And that's Instagram, Taswira.Africa.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to put out there because everything nowadays is located Instagram, Facebook, website. So if you're hearing this right now, you don't have to actually be in Seattle. You can just jump on web, contact you through the website, Facebook, Instagram, do business everywhere. Because I mean,
that's awesome.
The internet is so powerful. You just can't exclude that. You really got to be focused on that, especially being a brick and mortar store and everything.
That's a whole other. You need to, because during the week there's not a lot of people there, so it's like finding ways to drive people and to bring people in here and experience that. So that's a whole other business thing, and on top of like Google Analytics and
exactly.
getting our location on Apple Maps and stuff. That's a whole other ballpark for become a new business owner. So and follow us on Instagram because we got we have some pretty unique content on there, and you can really see what we're doing with the tribes and definitely upcoming with the events at the store.
Okay, that's really good. Now you're gonna go ahead and help Seattle folks out with some of that coffee and stuff. That would definitely get people going
coffee. I want to get some live jazz performances in the store and some Black creatives and let's use this space up. I can't do it alone. You know?
Okay. Man, that's really good. That's really good. You've been a really, really great guest. And last message out here for all the Black people in our community. You got to get out there and support other Black people, other Black business. Stop being trifling. Stop tripping. Stop being ignorant. I love my Black people. Some of y'all just... I'm sorry. Some of y'all just... Good Lord.
We need to find community.
Exactly.
We need to find community comfortably and enjoy. So thank you.
Yeah, no problem. No problem.
For letting me share my story.
No, I definitely, like I said, I'm unapologetic when it comes to Black people doing business. With Black people doing stuff that's business positive, I got that. Even in my thing on YouTube and stuff. It ain't nothing positive. Get your ass up out of my face. Black positivity is 100% of my mind and stuff. And like I said, love my people, even the ones that don't even act right. It's hard and stuff, but definitely you've been a really great guest, and definitely go down and support her store, support any other positive Black people out there in the community doing whatever they're doing. And thanks a lot for being my guest, Miss Avery Barnes and Taswira. All right.
Thank you.
Sorry about that. But go ahead please support this lady, support any other Black. I want to say one more again, any other Black businesses out there that's doing this stuff, please stop the violence, because this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. Stop the Black on Black crime. It's ridiculous. All right. And thanks a lot for being my show, That Ain't Black Podcast.